you about how to get savvy with business issues. Today, I'm going to be talking about the difference between our how and our why, and why that's relevant. And when we say about there's lots of tools out there that help us make better decisions. I talk about one particularly a lot, and that's the motivational maps model, but there are others and I use others. So in this, I want to introduce two. Hello, Claire. Nice to see you here. So I'm going to be two tools which actually look at two different things. So as I mentioned, what I'm going to be talking about today is your how versus your why. We need to know both, and I'm going to explain why that is. So let's get stuck in and look at some a diagram of how all this fits together. So first of all, let's think about the things we need to perform well at work. If we are working for another company, then this doesn't really apply. But if we're starting our own business, we need to think about the direction we head in. And Claire's watching, and she loves motivation maps, yes. And also Claire is a great trainer. If you want some actors to train and actually show you how something works using actors, she's great. So get in touch with Claire. So first of all, if we got to think about our direction with regards to our business. If it's our own, it doesn't really apply if we're working for somebody else. Next thing we got to think about is the skills and our knowledge and our ability to deliver whatever it is that we have set our direction towards. And what in most instances, if not all, we are here to solve a problem. Most businesses are set up to solve a problem. So once you know what that problem is, then everything else is then focused on solving that problem. So we need the skills, the knowledge, expertise, and experience to do that. And experience is obviously really important. It's all very well been trained with skills, but if you haven't got a certain amount of experience, then you probably will struggle. But also at this point, I want to just introduce the concept of how we do things. Now, a lot of you will probably have done what we call a psychometric, which is a behavioural style diagnostic process, which gives you an idea of how you like to do things. Really useful for when you are building a team in respect to how they communicate, how they work together, making sure that they don't fall out about the way they do things. And that's really useful. So at this stage, with skills knowledge, it's very useful to know how you do things as well, so that you can really understand people. That's the important thing. And second, and the third element is the motivational piece, which I talk a lot about. And I talk about it a lot because people don't understand what motivation is. We have to understand what gets us out of bed in the morning. It's the third element that we really need to perform well. And if we don't understand it well enough, we can't take good decisions around what's motivating us and making sure that those motivations are being met in our work. And this is most important when you're setting out your own business. It's very easy to set a business up with a direction and the what of what you're doing and how you're going to do it. And that's very probably from experience. You've done something for a long time and you think, well, I'll do it for myself. But the third element is the motivation, which keeps you going, keeps your energy up. That's the point. And if you haven't got that energy, then when you get to those bumps in the road, which so many businesses are hitting at the moment, then this is when it really tries you, and your motivation is really important to get you through these times. So these are the three elements. So we can actually think about them in slightly different ways, in that we can think about them as the what, the how, and the why. So what do we do? How do we do it? And thirdly, why do we do it? And I think when people think about, well, why do I do it? Most people might think, oh, well, I need a job, I need an income and all those sort of things. But actually, if you're going to perform at your best, you need more than that. You need to be aware of what it is that drives you and why you really want to do whatever it is, especially if it's your own business. So with that in mind, there are two models that I use, and there are many others that you can use. But for the how piece, the behavioural style piece, I use Colour Persona. And there are many others. There are things like Myers-Briggs, Insight Discovery, DISC, all those things. And they're really useful to understand how you do things, so that when you're planning your business or designing your career, you can make sure that you are firstly understand the way you do things, and secondly you understand how that impacts others. And when you understand that, you can make sure that you don't antagonize others, and also you can meet them in the middle and make sure that you have that rapport that's so important at work. And the other module that I use is motivational maps for the why. So this is the difference between the how and the why. The how is how we do things, obviously. Motivational maps tells us why we do things and why we want to do them, why we get out of bed in the morning, why is it important to us. And all these three elements, the what, the how and the why, work together. So they don't work independently, they work together, because the thing that you decide that you want to do with regards to your business will be very much influenced by your why, and it will also be influenced by how you do things. So it's getting these three elements in balance, making sure that you're aware of all three, and once you've got them in balance and they are working for you, then you will be performing well, and that's the important thing. So that was what I wanted to share with you today. I hope that's useful. It's something that comes up a lot. People get a bit confused about all these models that are out there. But if you know what it's actually telling you, and then most importantly, you then take some action around what it's telling you, then you can really use whatever tool it is that you're using to make some great decisions and help you along the way. And let's face it, we live in a very confusing world. We meet people, we know how we see the world, but we don't know how other people see the world. And by using these tools, you can actually help one another, especially when you share this information. You can really help understand how people see the world and how it's different to you. So once you've got, as I said, use the information to your best effect. And in a leadership position where I do most of my work, this is vital information, because there are things that will influence the way we lead our team, and there will also be things that influence the way and why we lead our team and the things that we want from that experience. Not everybody actually wants to be in charge. That doesn't mean that you can't lead a team when you don't want to be in charge. It just means that you've got to make sure that the things that are important to you are met. And once those things are met, you're more likely to lead your team well and give the team what they want, as well as making sure that you get what you need. So I hope that was useful. Thanks to those that joined and left comments. It's nice to see some people turning up and leave some comments. Any other comments I'll follow up with. Thank you for tuning in. Wherever you are, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on LinkedIn, or whether you're on YouTube. And I will see you again shortly for the next episode of the Get Savvy show. I've got some great guests lined up for some shows, so I'll be bringing some guests in to talk about some topics in future episodes. So look out for those, and I will catch you on the next episode very soon.